something to think about for the geniuses out there. Something for their highly intelligent minds to think about. Think about this. You can accept the fact that your government lies to you. You fucking know they do. You can accept the fact that the media lies to you. You fucking know they do. But when it comes to accepting the idea that the right wing of the Military Aeronautics Division, aka NASA, would tell you the truth about everything of what you're living on, never ever occurred to you to question it. You think that it's a conspiracy that is ridiculous and that too many people would be having to work together on it and it just couldn't be achieved. But the words compartmentalized, mentalized, does not ring a bell to your fucktard heads. The fact that everything on a need-to-know basis, the fact that NASA itself has a fucking studio that is more elaborate than the Hollywood themselves, doesn't ring a bell. The fact that the military continually does things to provoke war doesn't ring a bell. The fact that your government is continually finding ways to fucking take more money from you and keep you more and more impoverished doesn't ring a bell. But NASA, they're fucking clean as a whistle. They're so clean. They wouldn't have shills and trolls all set up ready to go to defend their fucking lying fucking faces. They wouldn't do that, would they? Because you know, because you're such a genius. All you geniuses out there that got your education, your educate the dead shun, go fuck yourself. Because we're going to wake up reality to a whole new level. One that your genius minds just can't go there. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Moving around on the moon's surface. 15-foot slow-motion leaps perform back edge. You want to buy it? You may remember the televised pictures of astronauts moving around on the moon's surface. If so, we challenge you to recall any extraordinary feats at all. Because in all actuality, ladies and gentlemen, there were absolutely none. Zero. Zilch. Zip. Nothing. In the November 1967 issue of Science Digest, an article appeared by James R. Barrie entitled, How to Walk on the Moon. In it, Mr. Barrie predicted that men would be able to make 14-foot slow-motion leaps, perform backflips, and other gymnastics just like professionals, and be able to easily move up ladders and poles with their arms, not even having to use their feet. Another prediction was given in 1969 by the writers of U.S. News and World Report in an article entitled, U.S. on the Moon. Look it up. And they said, with gravity on the moon only 1/6 as strong as it is on Earth, a home run hitter in a lunar baseball game could drive a ball well over half a mile. A golfer's drive from the tee would sail clear over the horizon out of sight. You wouldn't be able to see where it landed, even if you wanted to. See, the height an object will rise in a gravitational field, ladies and gentlemen, depends upon its initial velocity. And if an object had the same initial velocity in 1/6 gravity as it had on Earth, it would rise 6 times as high. If the initial velocity of the object were doubled over its Earth velocity, it would rise 24 times as high, and if tripled, it would rise 54 times the Earth height. Imagine the golf tournaments in such an atmosphere. A man jumps vertically by bending his knees and then flexing his thigh muscles to full extension. Try it yourself, right where you are. Get the feel of this so you'll know exactly what we're talking about. You see, when he does this, it propels him off the ground with a given initial velocity that can be measured. And if an astronaut were to jump vertically in 1/6 gravity with the very same effort expended on Earth, the initial velocity would be greater than on Earth. Therefore, the astronaut would go more than 6 times higher. And we haven't even gotten to these suits yet, so don't get ahead of me. We're going to cover that, folks, using NASA's own figures. You see, for the purposes of this broadcast, a conservative approach is taken, and I always do that with anything that we talk about, simply because I know that the wolves are out there ready to jump. We take a conservative approach in determining the relative jumping ability of astronauts in 1/6 gravity versus Earth gravity. A complicating factor, folks, is the alleged weight of the spacesuits and backpacks worn by the astronauts. Now here's where the fun begins. You see, NASA claimed it's their own figures. I didn't make this up, and you can check yourself. NASA claimed that the gear weighed 185 pounds. Let me repeat that so that there's no misinterpretation. 185 pounds. Now this is a terribly oppressive weight to carry on the Earth. But folks, it would be no problem whatsoever in 1/6 gravity. That is assuming that the astronauts weighed 185 pounds and their gear weighed the same. And these are the NASA figures, and the astronauts, all of them, weighed pretty close to that figure. The total combined weight, ladies and gentlemen, in 1/6 gravity would be only 62 pounds. Now just ruminate on that a little bit. If the astronaut weighed 185 pounds, and his entire suit, all of his gear, weighed another 185 pounds, the equivalent combined total weight in 1/6 gravity would be only 62 pounds. And I'm here to tell you I could do amazing things if I weighed 62 pounds anywhere at all. But we didn't see any of that, did we? You see, this is still only 1/3 of an astronaut's body Earth weight, without any gear. Are you beginning to understand? Therefore, the astronauts should have been able to jump vertically far higher than they could on Earth without any burden. And you remember when they were tooling around in that little car and they were spinning their wheels and the dirt was flying up, making a rooster tail? Well, folks, that dirt didn't fly up very high and it didn't stay up in the air. It came down really quick. And according to statistics, dust in a 1/6 gravity atmosphere. In fact, an atmosphere only 2% as dense as Earth's atmosphere, that dust should still be floating around somewhere, shouldn't it?
Filthy
But it
fucking
didn't.
liars.
How are we going to explain this? How does NASA explain it? Very simply, folks, they don't. They can't. They never could. And they never will.
Really sick.